On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, Fire Force Season 2, Episode 3, Firecat. I absolutely love today's episode. It was just amazing to me. I gotta agree with Tamaki's, self-reflection. She's played the damsel in distress up until this point. We saw it with Shinra during their incident with Rekka, and we saw it again in the Nether with Juggernaut coming to her rescue. I mean, to me, she's so far been a very underutilized character, but in today she was finally given her moment to shine, and it was just absolutely awe-inspiring. Character development is one thing, but her actual power development, the potential there is ridiculous. And if the twins are any indication of where they're going with Tamaki's power, I think we're almost guaranteed to get a full body Nekomata takeover. Like, you saw it. You saw that the mask was still just a partial transformation, but if she can expand upon her ability, we might get a giant flaming cat. Like I said, I absolutely love today's episode. And I also love the continuity. There are no throwaway characters as we are returning to the 7th. Our journey back into the Nether had a couple surprising revelations, including all that shit about the Adala link. And of the list of people that Shinra actually had this connection with, there's only one he can actually talk to. Yes, that is Conroe, lieutenant of the 7th company. So you guessed it, we're going back to Asuksa. Now I do have to say, the next scene is pretty on the nose. As Captain Hibana is escorting Shinra, she questions Conroe allegiance and the possibility of him being a traitor, or at least in allegiance with the Whiteclads, and lo and behold, the isolated Conroe is currently being attacked by one. Is it mere coincidence? I really find it hard to believe that Conroe has any kind of connection, especially given the whole incident that happened recently. Not to mention, he one-hit KO'd this motherfucker with all glorious samurai faction there is, but still, we know that Whiteclads are not above, sacrificing their own, but he's A-okay in my book, so let's get on with the talking. They begin to question him about the great Asuksa fire. It was 2 years ago. This is where he basically sacrificed himself for Benimaru and inquired, the overheating, the ignition limit Tefrosis. Now, during that incident, he actually fought a demon, but it seemed that this was no ordinary demon. It was almost a mirror image of Conroe himself. And after a series of exchanging blows, we see that this is how he got his on-the-nose scar, as well as how he defeated the monster. He literally surpassed his limits, overheating to destroy this demon. And in doing so, was enveloped in his own blast and sent him to that oh so familiar hellish landscape. I gotta say, it's a little hard to focus on how we just learned that, yes, this is how Shinra created his Adala link with them, because the concept that he brings up and Hibana, expands upon, the theory of a doppelganger just blows my fucking mind. This demon, presumably from Adala, was a mirror image of the lieutenant. Does that mean there is a demon version of everybody in this other world? And you have to think there might be something on this subject, as she said she's gonna go investigate it further. Like, are we gonna see them battling their own demonic, infernal selves going forward? Like, that would be fucking amazing. Scary. I mean, you saw what it took to overcome his demon, but so badass. But with all questions answered, we need to return to Benimaru, because this wasn't just the only reason they want to go back to the 7th. Shinra has acknowledged the fact that these Whiteclads are getting brazen. These guys are they're the next level. I mean, we've seen him versus Corone. That's a fucking mountain of a man right there. I don't know how they're gonna fucking win. I mean, hell, he even lost technically to Giovanni. So it's time for some good old Benimaru training, but it's not just him. Knight Samurai Arthur is in attendance, as well as Tamaki, and oh my god, her and the twins were the highlight of today's episode. I fucking loved every second of that game of tag. I mean, we've all seen enough anime to know a game of tag is not as simple as it seems. So hearing her resolve and determination when Benimaru's like, hey, go play with the twins, there's a deeper meaning there. It's the fact that these two are fucking monsters themselves. Like, oh my god. When they got pissed off at Tamaki for not taking the game serious, I was like, oh shit, like, talk about a 180 on their personalities. And then just to hear it in unison though, fucking stereo. That honestly was the best game of tag though. Like, during it, where we actually got the flashbacks into Tamaki's past, the fact that she was studying to be a sister, her 3rd generation ability just propped up one day. I mean, around the time as her, Lucky Lechery starts coming out. Coincidence? There's a lot of coincidence in today's episode. Her witnessing Rekka. She even admits herself that it was joining the Fire Force. There was no rhyme or reason. It was just something to do. Everyone said, hey, you should go join, the Sisterhood. it. And oh, you got 3rd generation ability, go ahead and join the Fire Force. But even having these, you know, amazing abilities, you can tell that some parts in her life just made her, I guess, less confident, especially the whole shit going on at school with the other girls bullying her. Like, her demeanor actually makes sense. But seeing how Shinra and the others have had this giant effect on her, you can see her slowly begin to change both mentally and physically as her power is beginning to evolve, donning a more complete yet still partial transformation, now wearing almost an entire mask of a cat. It's breathtaking. But with the time limit of this game attack fast approaching, the twins decide to kick it up a notch and do a transformation of their own. It looks like theirs is more complete. In fact, they are the true embodiment of fire foxes, and it's fucking amazing. So now it's a cat versus foxes, and we're down to the nitty gritty. What the fuck is gonna happen? 15, 14, 13, 10. With the final seconds counting down, visions of a Shinra envelop her mind. The phrase, "it's okay to be yourself, have some pride," literally stops Tamaki in her tracks. No longer on the run, she decides to turn tail and face her opponent head on. Yes, this is no longer a game of tag, but a true blue battle. Even with the twins' combined attack, transforming into a giant mother fox, it is not enough to stop Nekomata Fireball as she blasts right through them. And even though it looks like Hika and Hina still want to play, luckily Benimaru shows up, unveiling that he knew the truth all along. She was actually suppressing her power. But we can all tell from this partial transformation that there is still so much more potential with her ability. Then of course her clothes burn away and her boobs pop out. I mean, did you really expect her to walk away without something like this happen? Nope. I gotta say, I'm excited for what's going on with Shinra and Arthur though. I mean, all the meanwhile while this was going on, I mean, it's under the guise of training to unlock hysterical strength, which is, I'm assuming, Fire Force talk for surpass your limits. But so far, all I see is Benimaru literally spit roasting them on an open flame. And then at the end, they're literally crucified, being burned alive. What the fuck kind of training is this, Benimaru? How the fuck did you get a teaching degree? My god. For the shit they're going through, they better at least get Super Saiyan for this shit. Anyways, like I said, this episode was fucking amazing. I love Tamaki so much. Yes, her lucky lechery is complete fan service, but her as a character, even up to this point playing the damsel in distress, I still found her so enjoyable to watch. Even if she wasn't the hero, she was the inspiration to them. Both Shinra and Juggernaut, they fucking manned up because of her. But now that her resolve and determination are true, it's no longer just a Fire Force soldier to be a Fire Force soldier, that, you know, she has people that she wants to protect. No longer can she stand idly by. Not to mention that confidence finally unveiling, letting loose that latent ability that she's been suppressing. I expect great things from her. But you know what? I still expect a lot of titties. Next week's episode is the finale, and it looks fucking amazing. We see Benimaru going full on God mode, Shinra going full on devil mode, and it looks like a couple people are getting the shit beat out of them. The only question is, how are they gonna leave this season off? Are we gonna leave off with a fucking cliffhanger? I don't think I can take that shit. I really don't think I can take that shit right now. But either way, this has been one hell of a ride. So, with the finale coming next week, I honestly cannot wait for future episodes.